Okay.
Hey, good afternoon. It's Monica Brown. I have David Rogers here with me. He has traveled with me and my family and my husband to the Capitol week after week after week. He is an influential person in this community of Granbury. He is a former military in the Air Force. I just want you to know. But we're going to talk for just a minute about TASB, which is Texas Association of School Boards. We came to the school today at 3 o'clock to speak. He did not get to speak, but I did. And I shared with them my thoughts. So I'm going to turn this over to David and let him share what he was planning on sharing in there. And then I may come back and do as well. But I want you to research it. I will put in the comments information that you need to know that they're ignoring. And Carroll ISD left TASB for good reasons. And they went to something called Texans for Excellence in Education. But here you go. This is David Rogers. Okay, David, look in there and tell them what you were going to say.
What I was going to say at the Granbury Independent School District Trustee Board meeting today was the top 16 administrators at TASB make over $3.7.5 million. They have diversity, equity, and inclusion in their mission statement, which the Texas legislature has outlawed in higher education, and there's legislation pending to potentially outlaw in K-12 education in Texas. This is part of a dangerous woke Marxist ideology that's harming the opportunities for our children to learn and education. Carroll Southlake ISD left TASB to go to Texans Excellence in Education, which is an alternative to provide policy and legal guidance that doesn't involve supporting woke Marxist ideologies. Also, it doesn't use taxpayer money. The vast majority of the money that TASB pays their administrators with is taxpayer money, millions and millions of it being weaponized to lobby and legislate against taxpayers, working parents, and their children's educational opportunities. That's what I was hoping to say, Dave, but they cut off the testimony before I could speak. But I hope everybody does their research and homework on this and sees that TASB is dangerous for educational opportunities for our students being denied, and also harming working parents and doing economic damage to our school districts.
Agree. Okay, I 100% agree with David. He's like a walking encyclopedia. He's retired and has some personal interest in things that he does that are fun. I'll tell him about another time. But entrepreneurial type things. But he is here in our community because he has a heart for helping the local swamp be drained, I'll put it that way. But just for example, if you go to Texans for Excellence in Education, there's a whole thing that it talks about the case for leaving TASB. And one of them has to do with how they recently released guidance promoting transgender policies. And last I checked, Granbury does not want to promote transgender policies, allowing biological males and girls restrooms, enforcing the conformity to preferred pronouns, and even encouraging withholding information from parents. Texas for Excellence in Education doesn't believe that. And then another one here, year after year, TASB lobbies the legislature for increased educational funding, yet rarely advocates for reforms that would improve educational outcomes. For example, while nearly all stakeholders across the state support reducing or repealing that STAAR test, TASB remains silent on the issue. So just to put a little point in there, those of us who have chosen to step away from the public school system, we don't want your testing. We don't want your reading results. We don't want your math results. But at the same time, we don't want that for the children of our community. We don't want 80% of the kids in a community across Texas, any community, attending a public school and then finishing without reading well and without doing math. And if you have children 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, you really can't blame it on their home. They should be able to read very early, and they should be able to do math, and we should be using the best of everything. This is 2025, and all we have to do is find out what works best and implementing it. And TASB's been around for 75 years. It's an unchallenged monopoly. It's time to say TASB GO, and I mean it with all my heart. And when I left the room, Courtney Gore, the president of the board, who she shouldn't even be on the board, in my humble opinion, based on her behavior, her voting, and everything, she shouldn't even be there. But she started to say, oh, well, TASB's da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and I'm just like, I don't need to hear it. If she's a responsible, upstanding, conservative citizen, she will look outside the box and she will find other ways to do things, or she will go along to get along, and we will continue with the same problems we already have. So that may sound harsh, but it's time to turn the tables. The whole behavior that she had over the sexually explicit books, the whole Glenn Rogers thing, okay, with her, is bad, and she wants to move up politically, and we need to say 100% no. And this needs to go to Stephenville, it needs to go to Erath County, Hamilton County, Somerville County, Johnson County. This needs to be spread, because we do not need Courtney Gore to move on up. So I'm saying that, and I hope that's not too negative for you, but she is the president of this school board, and she's ignoring the voice of the people and the voice of reason. If what you have is so damaged and broken that it's literally imploding on itself, then you need to stop and say, what major changes could we make? What things can we cut to save things? And what can we do? Even things like putting lights at bus stops. So just think about that, because that happened in my neighborhood right down my street. I walked down there that day because I was trying to let someone in my neighborhood to meet me, and I didn't even know what had happened. Super, super sad. We're all grieving the loss of a little child that was accidentally hit by a school bus anyway. So I just want to say that. I wanted you to meet David and know that we are going to talk. We are not going to be suppressed. This is free speech, and we want to see things changed all across our state and nation. We want to get on board with what the president's trying to do as well, to make change, make it great again, make education phenomenal again. I'll talk with you later. Thanks a lot.